Well, thank you all for having me this morning. I do appreciate the opportunity to talk with you about the work that I've been able to do as your Attorney General. So I've given you, and Bruce will obviously look through the paper. Bruce will be the only person in the entire state, I think, who has looked through the paper. But it really demonstrates, I think, what we've been doing recently. And essentially, if you want to break down the work, a lot of it obviously involves protecting some of the most vulnerable among us. So children, women, seniors, in this economy, consumers, homeowners. And so we're constantly dealing with the threat of sex offenders. We run the Illinois Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which, in addition to training law enforcement and then going after the internet predators, is also working with teachers, parents, students, training them how to be safe on the internet, not just from the predators, but also from cyberbullying, sexting, and other threats that have been very, very problematic and ultimately have led to far too many children around the country taking their lives. So we always have that going on. We can talk about sex offenders for a while if you want to do that. In terms of women, I would say probably most recently we passed a law here in Illinois that now makes Illinois the first state in the nation to actually require that all DNA collected after a sexual assault is sent to the state police crime lab and tested. When they did this in New York, it went from a 30% arrest rate to a 70% arrest rate. I'm hoping that we see similar increases here. If you look at the sex offender registry, at least the last time I got online and did the numbers, 24,560 registered sex offenders in the state, 19,960 of them committed a crime against a child, someone below the age of 18, so over 80% of them committed a crime against a child, which I find very, very disturbing. So that's important. Seniors, it's the physical, abuse as well as the financial fraud that we're contending with. So we are in the process, or continuing the process, of this Operation Guardian that we've launched, where so far in the past probably 10 months at this point, we've been in 21 nursing homes across the state of Illinois. We have found over 100, it's actually close to 124 individuals with active criminal warrants. So that's very disturbing, and we're continuing to do that. In addition, the financial fraud, well, you were there when we did the training in Springfield with the group during lunch, the Jewish group that meets for lunch. But we've been doing that around the state now for well over a year at this point, because so many of the scams we see these days are targeted at older people. There's a whole brochure in there, every cent counts, particularly for seniors. In large part because once people send away their money, it's gone. We try our best to get it back, but if you wire away your money, tough to get it back. Certainly homeowners, that's been one of our number one priorities since I walked in the door, going after the mortgage giants who put people into these lousy subprime loans that were designed to fail. And now they are fraudulently putting people into foreclosure, even though they aren't following the legal requirements to do that. Very proud of the work we've been able to do, particularly with Navistar, to keep them in Illinois. We've done work also with the legislature when there are opportunities to require increased use of renewable energy, which actually, if you guys been by the wind farm, there's a fabulous wind farm outside of Champaign that is really the direct result of the renewable requirements that have been put into place. So more clean energy, as well as more jobs in the state that way. Bruce can tell you all about our fabulous public access counselor office, and we'd be happy to talk about that. But truth be told, in spite of your commentary on it, it's phenomenal. We've trained over 17,000 people in the state. We have dealt with over 4,000 requests. I've got 11 full-time lawyers, which is really a stretch at this point, considering the budget of the office.
11 full-time lawyers.
11 full-time, yeah, 11, which in the budget that we're facing is really tough to do. We've pulled people from several different areas in addition to new hires. We've closed, they say, over 76% of the matters that come through the office. And we're getting information that people never got before, and so I think that there's a lot to be said for that. But basically, in terms of the budget, my GRF request right now is less than it was in 1998. You'll all remember that a number of years ago, Rod Blagojevich cut our GRF approach by 25%, and that's never really been restored. So We did everything before I think the rest of state government had to start doing it, from saying to people, do you want to retire? Interested in part-time work, and if the operations allowed it, putting people on part-time. We renegotiated contracts with vendors when they were willing to do that. We, almost all of our continuing legal education is done in-house, so it doesn't cost us as much to send people out to have that done. Reduce subscriptions, nothing too small. And then after we did all those things, then we still had to lay off lawyers. We laid off over 20 lawyers. So, again, making the commitment to continue to hire new lawyers to work in the public access counselor area has been financially challenging.